been taken away, and sometimes counterpick is more important. And so I think that it's going to be pretty even playing field.
I think the most important thing for BNK to do is to ban Varus. And a lot of Guma's pool is gone, right? Like, he doesn't have the Jhin, he doesn't have the Ashe, the Ziggs is gone. And if you feel like you can play Gnar into him, he has shied away from the Lucian a lot recently. They banned the Varus instantly, but they did in the previous games as well. They're just not going to let him play it. And I wonder where he's going to go here in this game.
Corki. He's going to play Corki. That's what I think.
That seems like probably the best bet for Hanwha Life eSports, is Pantheon will once again be banned.
I feel like this is the only series where Pantheon has been consistently banned.
It's like, thank God, too, man.
Finally.
Jeez.
But one last ban to come through is going to be
they banned the Gnar. They're like, I'm not dealing with all that. We're not leaning into that. We're not going to play around that. I don't like that. No.
Yeah,
which
good call.
Makes a lot of sense to me. I think Hanwha Life eSports are kind of on the same page with me on this one. Nami take it away. So if he was going to play Corki, he won't have the Nami to assist.
Yeah, I actually think that's kind of a cute move, as I think they had the same idea, but they wanted to at least nullify the Lucian a little bit as well. Of course, you can play Lucian with a bunch of other things, but the Nami is certainly the best one.
Back-to-back comfort here for Zeus. Had the great counter pick in game one. This is one of the safest blind picks in the meta. Jace is already gone. Played that one earlier on in game one.
What about
feels
the
like a strong first pick.
counter pick?
I'm going to say don't do that.
Oh, okay. Diable is thinking about picking up the Lucian.
This just feels, when I think about this third game and I think about Fearless, I feel like it favors Diable so much over Guma in the bottom 2v2. And, you know, maybe Guma could go back to an old classic and play one of his best ever in the Aphelios, right? But this is Diable saying, are you going to play Zeri into this? You know, we're incredibly good at these Lucian comps. It's part of why they got to first stand in the first place.
Yeah.
As they get the Aurora pick as well, which is flexible here. Very strong start. Now, finally, Vi is going to be considered. They just go for Ahri Vi here, it looks like.
All right. I mean, Zeka, this was his debut champion. Something that he has a lot of comfort on. See whether it is going to work out, though, as VicLa, with it face up, can decide to play the Aurora into it. Of course, the Aurora could be flexed towards the top lane.
This situation here in terms of draft makes the Milio so strong because you know that what's left here for Guma to play is going to be anything that, you know, you want to burst down with Lucian Milio. There's no Nami. They banned that. I think that was pretty tricky, pretty smart, eliminating the Corki lane and saying, you've got to play a bit of a slower, more scaling-oriented pick. You ban Yunara. They can play Zeri Lulu, right? Like, that's a classic, but it's something that they don't really enjoy to play.
Yeah, it's not necessarily...
And it can be banned as well.
Yeah, it's not Gumayusi's like main champion. The Zeri, it's always been a little bit aside from his champion pool, but could certainly be something that they do opt towards. I think the Aphelios is still there. The Jinx is still there.
It's also kind of an awkward draft to play one of those scaling picks in.
Yeah, and also
well.
you play it into a Lucian lane, and you're just asking for trouble, as there is the Nautilus to be taken away. Not going to allow both of those targeted CCs to come on through.
Is it time for Guma to bring out the Neela again?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't think so. But
and
it
hopefully
would be good
not
for
a
the dive
Senna
comp.
either. Maybe it's a Callista angle. Gumayusi has always been all right at that one.
Yeah, Callista Renata is not easy to play here, but definitely feels like it could go toe-to-toe. Maybe they'll just ban the Callista in this spot here, BNK. Caitlyn also pretty strong.
Yeah, Silas Ban is telling me that maybe they wanted some sort of Alistair angle.
It's also good into the Gnar, as we've seen. Okay, the Alistair is going to be banned. That was a good read here from BNK.
Yep, denying that one. Delight has, of course, been able to take over games on this champion.
And it's a front line that they might sorely need if Guma is going to be playing one of those scaling picks.
One last ban to come through. Try and deny top lane or jungle. The Poppy just going to be taken away.
Poppy really good into this composition here for Hanwha Life eSports. Even though it's kind of a weird pick in this situation. I'm kind of looking at these drafts feeling like BNK have a full dive composition and Hanwha Life eSports are going to kind of end up with half of one, right? Like that's why I was kind of joking about that Neela pick because they have the strong bursting AD carry lane to follow up the Aurora and the now Naafiri setup here, whereas Ahri Vi as a duo really strong. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, well, Draven is certainly an option, but I don't know whether he really wants to do it. The Xayah Rakan could be coming on in here.
It is comfort for both.
Yep. I mean, this is Delight's Rakan. He's phenomenal on this champion. And honestly, when Gumayusi moved over to HLE, we should have seen this as being a big thing that they can now lean on, because Guma has always loved the Xayah in any matchup with any lane partner, but Delight is the Rakan guy. So this is kind of their signature lane.
Oh,
okay, so the Mel will mean that this Aurora is heading towards the top side of the map. My God, this lineup is so squishy. It is absurd.
Yeah, really no front line. This looks like an HLE draft.
Yeah, it really does.
The front line is the diving jungler, and we kill all of the champions. Who needs tanks? They're all dead. It's playing into its own dive, though, and it has the safety of the Xayah, which is going to feel really great into what they're trying to set up here. Now, I'm not a big fan of Xayah into Lucian, because Lucian just keeps hitting you after you press R.
Yeah.
But it is really strong into Naafiri. It's pretty good into Aurora. The metal damage, though, is going to be something that I think they really have to account for, because this draft here for BNK, while it doesn't have a front line, it just has damage forever.
Yeah.
4 of these champions will hit you hard, and they will keep hitting you. So if the Lucian runs out of buttons, guess what? There's still an Aurora, there's still a Mel, and then Lucian's buttons come back up. So they basically have to control this game from start to finish, but if they can hold the tempo and play a Hanwha Life eSports style, you know, we talked about how both these teams have similar play styles, they can win this game. Guma is on comfort. Delight's Rakan is where he really made a name for himself, where he cut his teeth on Breon back in the day.
Yeah.
So this is a banger draft setup here for Game 3.
Yeah, I'm really interested in how this one's going to go. But the FEARX composition is without fear at this point, with how incredibly squishy it is. We'll see whether they can continue going forward, as HLE a little bit more reserved. All right, here we are into the final game of the day, and possibly the very first win for FEARX in the LCK for 2026.
And to double their game wins for the tournament?
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
Just like that?
Well, let's see whether they can actually make it happen. As HLE, I think that their composition is a little bit more robust than what FEARX have, but there is certainly a lot of firepower here. You can see already FEARX trying to use it.
I agree with what you're saying. Like, I really look at both of these drafts, and I think that in terms of well-roundedness and, you know, what you're looking for in a general draft, especially in Game 3 of Fearless, where you're like, okay, do you have good engage? Do you have solid, consistent damage? Do you also have CC threats? You know, do you have someone who could side lane? Like, they kind of check all the boxes. But matchup-wise here, in playstyle-wise, I kind of like what BNK have. I think that if they lose control of this game for even 1 second, they won't like it anymore. But
no.
They have all the tools, right? Like they're like, okay, Xayah, you can press R, but Naafiri can press W, and that's on a very shorter cooldown. And I'm safing into Vi, so I can play very aggressively around that. You know, VicLa has rebuttal, which is going to feel great into charms, for example. They have Milio for anti-CC, so playing this Ahri is going to be very tough when Milio is around. So there's a lot of good things here, matchup-wise, in what BNK have put together in this draft. But I agree that the more well-rounded draft is on the other side. Here comes Raptor, level 3.
Yeah, looking for a dive, as let's see who they're going to target. They're looking for Gumayusi, who flashes to try and get out of the way, and there is Raptor just getting rid of the turret aggro, and out they go. Beautifully navigated here from FEARX, as now Delight trying to get himself out, but now he doesn't have the help of the turret. Bleed does come through, but FEARX will let him live for now.
A lot of minions denied here, but they don't get the fast back because they chased for Delight, so that's actually a pretty big win here.
Yeah, they pull the wave as well, so the minion wave is actually going to get taken down by the turret, although I think that the casters were out of range. Still, probably going to leave the wave in a pretty good state here for FEARX as they make their way back in.
Yeah, that was really good for BNK. The play was great on it. It's an early Sheen buy for Diable off of that.
Wow.
That's a big problem for Guma. But this is, I mean, I was joking about it, but quite literally, I have W, you don't have R yet, you're not level 6, I dive the turret. Angle for Naafiri, because you can just reset the turret aggro. It's very standard. We see it all the time. It's why this is part of her kit. And there's just no recourse there. It was a very elementary setup. Crash the wave, dive the turret, kill the carry. And now it's a 500 gold lead here at 3 minutes for Diable. Playing, in my mind, his second best pick next to Ezreal. Oh, that's a root.
Yeah, fantastic snare to come on through there as VicLa looking for the angle onto Zeka. Wishes he had the ultimate.
I would have flashed to try to kill. I would not have been able to resist.
Well, Delight is over there as Zeka just uses that Foxfire to try and run the heck away. You can understand why, as he will be looking for the reset. Does have teleport, so can make his way back to the lane, as Kellin is going to take a lot of damage from Gumayusi, but isn't going to be dying just yet. And that gold lead has now stretched to 1.3k at 4 minutes, which is kind of ridiculous. That is going to be Grump secured by Kanavi, but doesn't find the Vault Breaker as Raptor just flips over the wall and will look to make his way out.
It's the tri-lane angle again, but this time it's BNK who have massive control down here. Even Diable's poke is trying to add up a little bit here, but Kanavi seems to be pretty good at making sure he can secure these early game objectives. It's been one of his strongest points, and defends his Grump. Diable goes in.
Yeah, not sure about that one, but they do get the fire kick onto Gumayusi. That actually buys them a lot of time here, as there is the dash out. He avoids the pullback. And Diable keeps himself alive, but so does Gumayusi.
Yeah, let's not get too fancy here, Diable. Starting to get a little worried. Kellin backing him up there. They have so much trust in each other. You could really feel it.
Honestly, like, that fire kick was so necessary.
Absolutely.
To deny that from Gumayusi. Both barriers were used in that exchange as well. Diable still has flash, Gumayusi does not.
Kanavi has a big farm lead and actually has a level lead right now over Raptor, but Raptor's still going to challenge him here because they have mid-prio. This bottom lane is on such a nice edge.
All right, Raptor does find the double daggers. Zeka was thinking about looking for a charm angle as the grand entrance is going to go wide.
Diable doesn't have barrier, and he's a little bit low on mana, so he needs to be really careful here. Yeah, just a few of these feathers landing, and maybe he's in kill range as Raptor's coming for a second pass.
And let's see how FEARX actually play this, as in goes Diable looking for that angle. There is the knock-up as he doesn't press the flash button as Raptor looks for the angle. Fire kick comes in, the flash from Diable, but he didn't have the passive. They go 1 for 1 as both AD carries die, but so does Raptor, and it's a double for Delight.
Getting a little bit too aggressive down here on the bottom side for BNK. Luckily, though, for BNK, both of the kills go over to the Rakan, so Guma ends up with neither of those, which is really important there. It does pick up 2 assists, so it's not all bad. It's not looking great for this Aurora pick, but this is a top lane Aurora, as only Doran is, I believe, the one in that list who did that.
Yeah, it's been on a bit of a loss streak. We did see it lose in our previous series as well. In pretty colossal fashion in the hands of Closer.
We might as well just change the position name of Hanwha Life eSports from jungler to counter jungler with how Kanavi's been playing. And in this game, 15 CS up here, taking away 4 extra camps effectively, as he has not been ganking as much, but he's been the benefactor of that failed gank on the bottom side alongside Delight.
And also with Raptor falling down, it does take him off the map for a little while. You can see now tidying up his bottom side as we're going to check this fight out one more time.
They could have been happy with the exchange here, you know, but Diable flashes and fails, right? And that's the really painful part of this.
Yeah, and I mean, if he had the passive, if the Light Slinger was there, I mean, Gumayusi was dead, but he just did not have it set up. Zeus is looking to kill clear. He does go stealthy, but Zeus has got a minion wave here between worlds. There's a flash and clear outplays him! God, that was so good! Is now engaged towards the bottom side as cease and assist is going to be used. Diable gets engaged on, but he stands his ground. Kanavi's taken out, but it's a double for Zeka, who finds a beautiful angle. Now VicLa is finding his way back in, and the overwhelming damage from this Mel is looking fantastic as Delight goes down as well. It's a double as VicLa looking for even more, as Zeka should be able to make his way out.
It's a rocky early game here for HLE. I mean, they've been able to get some big wins, right? Kanavi counter jungling, taking away the enemy camps. But, you know, plays like this felt like they were a freebie. Like, this felt like it was done. He goes invis and then sets up the ultimate here. Look at the angles. He gets the slow, dodges the boomerang.
Wow.
That was
and even
really well
he's
played.
in awe.
Yeah.
And then down here, you know, in these early scrappy fights, you're playing into Naafiri, you're playing into Mel. Now, Mel isn't here, but they're not able to actually win the early part of this fight well enough to actually get the Ahri's resets to be the bigger factor, as Mel is just like, oh man, I'm going to get them solo, I'm going to blow them up. Delight here goes down to the passive. Nothing Zeka can really do here.
Yeah. FEARX fans, I could understand. That's probably how you're feeling. As it's a bit of a trust fall in this game, especially with this composition, but they are making it work. Raptor is on the grubs. We'll be able to get at least the first one, as Kanavi was thinking about coming over. Does scry the little doggo.
Thought Zeus might get that with a house. It was pretty close, but does not quite secure that one as Kanavi shows up here and be a 2 for 1.
Yeah, it does manage to get one of them, but the smite was there for Raptor, so he does take the third. So 2 for 1 in exchange there.
TP here for Delight to rejoin the lane, but this lane is in tatters. Essence Reaver is ready for Diable, and Guma is sitting on components.
Oh, now they're looking to see whether they can catch them off guard. There's the Ardent Blaze, but Delight just battle dances his way back out. Gumayusi did actually do a lot of work in that last fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the end, just exploded as VicLa made his way back in, but the Feather Recall as well as the Feather Storm really setting things up to do a lot of AoE damage, as now the culling does come on through, but Diable is not quite able to fully make this one.
His flash is so close to coming back up. He wants to just put as much damage in as possible before then. He knows he'll have flash advantage, but not as much as he was looking for there.
Yeah, good little steal here from Raptor. Denies the crab. And now Delight just being tricky. Know that he knows the limits of the Rakan, absolutely, but it's still a little bit scary.
Kanavi still half a level up, still up, you know, practically 4 camps here, but it doesn't necessarily matter in this early game because everything else is kind of fallen apart. And it's 2 kills for Zeka, you know, believe it or not, but I don't know if he's going to make the same impact through the mid game as this Mel will, especially if this bottom lane keeps getting put down. Kanavi's on his way down here.
Yeah.
And I think that this dive, I mean, they should have been under turret. The wave's in a horrible spot.
Yep, in goes Raptor, looks for the angle. Featherstorm is going to be claimed.
Okay, now there's an angle, maybe.
Potentially, but he's pretty far away, looking for a potential lane gank option just to try and deny any further aggression.
There's so much vision here. There's a vision, in there's a ward in the Tri-Brush, one in the Pixel in the river. Kanavi's going to try to avoid all of it and come down here and make this happen.
Oh man, Diable doing a lot of work here with that Essence Reaver. But are they going to take the bait? That's the question. Looks like the answer might be yes. And I think they know that they're playing a little bit too aggressively to not have someone lying in wait. So they do not take it. And FEARX just going to play around the information that they had. That's a Zeke's now completed for Delight, though, as the Essence Reaver is also done here for Guma. So that is some decent
value.
spikes.
Yeah, getting some value out of the early kills he got to put that one together pretty quickly.
Yeah. Elliot comes in, but having a look at VicLa in the mid lane. Both of our mid laners are 2 and 0.
It's the Diable classic to go top lane as this 2-man gank with Kellin. We've seen this a few times this year from this squad, and it can really catch off guard the top laner who's being pushed in. It doesn't have vision control. They're doing the full wraparound control vision setup here. Zeus does not have flash. It's so close, but not yet available.
Oh, the culling comes down. He's still just mini Gnar, and there is just nothing he can do. Clear gonna lock down another one. And now you can see FEARX just looking to rip out all of these plates.
It's basically a way to guarantee first brick as well as a ton of plate gold, because on the other side, the turret was so healthy here that there's no way that Guma and Delight can actually just burst that one down. So they win the race here. Diable gets more money.
Well, they are actually going to go for a reset before that turret does fall down. But like you were saying, I mean, Gumayusi is able to get another wave in, so might be able to do something. And they are a very long way away from this, and Diable is going to stick around just to make sure that they do claim this first brick, like you were saying.
Zeus
there it is.
Couldn't decide if he wanted to go bottom there or go back topside in TP, so he has actually not been farming for a while after his death. Just kind of happy feeding a little bit, as it's a pretty unusual situation here with the AD carry going there, then delaying his back, then going for the delayed turret. Some mind games here for BNK. The gold lead here is still relatively small, as man, Zeka's having a roughie.
Fantastic rebuttal. Zeka gets taken down to half health.
Gets ulted to stop the back.
Yep, VicLa just buying as much time as possible. They keep that bottom outer turret alive as well.
And when I say Zeka's having a roughie, I don't mean he's playing bad. It's a tough game. The Mel performance here from VicLa after an incredible Hui game is just really annoying to play into.
Yeah, and this is one of the picks that VicLa had been playing throughout the LCK Cup. And first stand, things like this, found a fair bit of success. As in goes Raptor, immediately gets knocked up though, and I think the doggo is in trouble as he does manage to go untargetable, flips over the wall, flashes to try and get out, but Zeka is able to follow him. Still, Raptor gets so much of his health bar back. The charm goes wide, and in the meantime, they're looking for a little bit more. Finally, Zeka is able to lock down that kill as Diable thrown into the wall. It's a double for Zeka. This guy's Ahri starting to pop off. We were talking about him having a roughie. What about a quadra kill as the Orb of Deception comes in and the punch for the Milio takes him down, and now VicLa is alone to try and keep himself alive underneath this almost dead turret already. Down it'll go. He does have the rebuttal, but he is extraordinarily dead. And that's what you get for pressing the ultimate to deny a back.
This is a full ace there to come through for Hanwha Life eSports. And BNK have just not been happy to hold on to this lead. They want to push the advantage further. And like I said when we talked about the draft, they cannot let go of this game for even a second. So they want to push the issue here. But Guma gets so far back before he ults that Raptor puts himself in no man's land. And even though he is Naafiri, he cannot get out. Zeus shows up here with Mega. And now you're just, unfortunately, unable to get away. This comp is too sticky. Zeka's playing Ahri. He's going to get resets. The Gnar does so much work. And VicLa just isn't big enough or really in position to help peel or push these health bars lower. His turret has no health. And I think this might have been the end of the game for BNK because they could not. I mean, if you run out of steam with this comp, it's really hard to get it back, get map control back. They're down 2 dragons. HLE are now 3,000 gold ahead. A massive swing that may be difficult or impossible for BNK to recover from. At least they are able to secure this Herald.
Yeah, they'll get that, but like you were saying, I mean, this composition was going to be difficult to play at best, but after losing that fight, man, it's going to be a real rough time. However, I mean, this series has taught us a few things, and has also kind of reiterated what we already know.
A little reminding.
That is that anything's throwable, and also anything's winnable if you do manage to just outplay in team fights. We know Diable is so good at this champion as Clear looks for a little bit of an angle, does avoid Zeka as he makes his way down, as Shelly did get a charge but was unable to take down the turret.
And, you know, they can't get the turret here, but they were set up for a potential dive, but HLE play it slow, they play it safe. Turret survives. Zeka comes in there, isn't able to get the charm, but he was definitely ready for the punish, and they just have to leave. They cannot stick around any longer. And so we kind of reset to a game state here where now this Gnar is starting to be a little bit frustrating in sides. Will finally get his first item here on this back. Cole completed a while ago. And, you know, he's picked up a gold lead with the extra alone time, the extra farming he's gotten. Kanavi was able to pick up that kill. Has been obviously out farming Raptor. And the one gold lead, right, the one constant you thought for sure this game BNK would never drop is that 80 carry lead. But even Guma picks up the advantage there as VicLa is going to be fine here. But the next dragon is Mountain. It is a Mountain Soul point for Hanwha Life eSports if they pick it up. And into this comp for BNK, it is a death wish.
Oh, yeah.
If they let that go over.
Yeah, you are just not going to be able to get through them. They are already going to be tankier. Even though they don't have a true tank or anything like that, Zeus is going to be basically unkillable, and he will do enough damage to, like, 3-hit everyone on FEARX because they are just without their defenses. Still, I mean, they have a lot of damage.
With those extra shields when the soul is complete with their passive, it's just really, really tough.
Well, Clear was looking to do something tricky. It doesn't quite get there, and Diable just throws down the Kellin to try and get rid of them.
They want this turret. Kanavi isn't here yet, but he could come for the punish. They get it, but will they get out? I think so, because Raptor's got this under control, so bit of a BNK clap.
Oh, really nice charm connects onto Raptor, takes half of his health bar already. 2 items done for this Ahri.
10 Dark Seal stacks. He is really popping off. You know, we said he was having a tough one. It was getting a little bit annoyed, but he never died. Never gave a kill, and it popped off in that last critical team fight where they got the ace. They're going to give this dragon up, or at least with a late contester, practically a give.
Yeah, late invade to come on through towards this, as the quickness doesn't quite get the work done that it wanted to, but they do manage to take down the dragon. Delight battle dances his way out as Gumayusi finds the feather pull. They're looking for the angle, and there he is! Oh my god, the Gnar! And the Wallop as well, and HLE will destroy them in the team fight. Only Clear stays alive, but there's nothing he can do. They'll take down this outer turret and be able to pick up whatever else they'd like.
Very huge Gnar there from Zeus. My god, we had one from Doran earlier. And what is it with these top laners to swap places?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. It's such a late contest here. Zeka's on the flank. Like, there is not even like 1% of control here to BNK. And Delight doesn't end up getting exactly what he was looking for here, but Guma definitely does. And the Gnar follow-up is insane here. Kellin gets out, but nobody else does. The follow-up is crazy.
The three-man wallop after the Gnar as well, as we check this one out from Zeus' perspective. Look at the Gnar bar as well. My goodness, no flash required.
Yeah, no flash.
개맛있다. 이거야.
Yep, delicious. Absolutely. As HLE have found Raptor once again, you're not allowed to farm your jungle, my friend. As Diable just trying to get some damage where he can, but now they are 6,000 gold in the hole, and the soul point that we were talking about being devastating was picked up in before that fight even occurred, as Clear is getting harassed underneath his turret. Zeus is pretty low.
3 seconds on ult.
As there's the flash in and the flash out from Zeus.
Oh, if he gets his ult up just 2 seconds faster and, you know, uses it to Pac-Man his way back to the other side, ping-pong in and take Zeus out, could have been huge, but didn't have it. Trade of flashes is not enough.
Oh dear, VicLa trying to stand his ground. Does have a decent amount of defense with the Milio around, even if the health bars aren't large. Zeka can rotate down if you'd like to, denying an entire wave here. As the turret will be able to deal with this.
Soon to be a full item up on Diable. And Diable's burst just doesn't hit the same right now. They're on soul point with this mountain picked up as well. I just, you know, we said it, and I don't want to overstate it, but I don't know if this comp has ins anymore. Like, it had to control, you know, start to finish, never let it up, and now if Diable can't dash through and use all of his buttons and proc his passive and blow somebody up, then the Lucian doesn't do anything. The Mel is sitting on 1.5 items versus 10, you know, Dark Seal stacks here for Zeka. 2 items in, massively fed. Like, what do you do? How do you actually come back? I don't think you can. Not even the classic Hanwha whoopsie throws are going to be enough to get you back in this one, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need to conga line in, as there's the quickness from Delight. Holds 2 of them in place. The ulti from Kellin to try and buy some time, as there is the kill onto the Milio. Diable is the next one that's focused down. Zeus able to hit whatever he would like. Finds the Gnar, smacks Clear into the wall, and now VicLa trying to deal with Kanavi, but I don't think he has enough rebuttal to deal with this one. A few punches to the noggin, and down he goes. Another ace for HLE, and they'll look for the Baron.
Well, this one was certainly off to a great start for the Foxes, but FEARX are not going to take home their first series win. They got their first game of the tournament, but Hanwha Life eSports predictors like you yourself, who expected it to go 3,
I have to admit, it was more the coin that did the predicting. I didn't quite know how this series was going to go, although on paper, probably should have been HLE. They just haven't been all that trustworthy so far this season. Maybe after this victory here, we'll be feeling a little bit better about their prospects moving forward.
The ultimate irony for me in this one is, and it shouldn't come as a shock, but I think to everyone watching this, they probably will agree with the sentiment, is BNK kind of lost this game the way that Hanwha Life eSports have lost so many of theirs. You know, but their comp needed them to keep the foot on the gas, you know, the pedal to the metal. Like, basically, they needed to put a brick on the accelerator in order to win this game. But eventually, Hanwha Life eSports were able to outfight and defend and shut them down. And a few overextensions. Now, you could argue whether they needed to do or not. I think they could have played a little bit slower. Do them in. Hanwha Life eSports winning against their own style here.
Yeah. And the composition certainly working very well in their favor, but it's the gameplay more than anything else that's been really, really good. There's the charm back, though, as that's the shutdown from VicLa. FEARX, can they actually find the teamfight? That's going to be the question, as that's a brilliant ulti from Delight. Locks them all up And now it's Zeus' turn to carry. They've got 2 solo laners with a name that starts with Z. And Zeus is able to help clean this one up. Gumayusi is able to lock it down on the fountain, and that's yet another ace in trade for Zeka.
I mean, it doesn't get more comfort across the board here for champs for this team as well. Zeus on Gnar, Kanavi on Vi, Zeka, Ahri, Guma on the Xayah, and Delight playing his
It's like it's their greatest hits. We're just watching the greatest hits.
It is literally greatest hits album for this squad, and they play one of their best games yet. This is just a stop.
23-8 is the kill score. Reminds me of game number 1, to be perfectly honest. They focus down the Nexus, and HLE, despite dropping a game, will be able to come out victorious over FEARX.